everybody, welcome back. So this is just going to be a very quick video because I showed in my previous video how I added a hand crank onto this lovely Demorest, however you pronounce it, potato sewing machine, okay? And that was this back here. So if you haven't seen it already, please watch that video. Now these machines, they operate backwards from what a Singer would. On a Singer, you turn the wheel towards you, this wheel, as you sew. On this, like a white rotary, you turn it away from you, okay? So just letting you know that up front, this wheel needs to go away from me as I sew, but because hand cranks make everything backwards world, I'm going to be turning this hand crank towards me. That's on purpose, okay? But I wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, when you add a hand crank to a treadle machine, there's always the issue of how to make the bobbin winder work. And I think I have showed on some other videos ways to connect a smaller belt up here or on a motor or something to the bobbin winder. But what I wanted to show you is for this machine and maybe some others where the bobbin winder is up high, and normally this bobbin winder would not have a tire on it. I popped a rubber tire on there, okay? Because it will now, because there's no belt on it, remember, because of the hand crank, it's going to be fat enough with that tire that when I turn the wheel, okay, so I actually pulled my bobbin out from my little bobbin case because I wanted to show you. This will fit right in here, and we're just going to pretend I'm winding more thread on here right now. I'm not actually, but with this, it will move in and out. So when you wind a bobbin, it's going to be need to be pushed up so that this is engaging up here, okay? Oopsie, hang on. Trouble with the tripod here. Okay, so I'm just going to push that with my thumb, which again, turning this wheel away from me. And you can see that that's going to allow the bobbin winder to move back and forth and wind a bobbin, which is really cool. Okay, this is just a typical tire here. They actually make them a little bit fatter, and I wanted to start with a smaller one first just because it's easier to put on. But if I needed to, I could put a fatter one on. So when I'm not winding a bobbin, I just let that fall forward so that it does not engage. And I feel like I should tighten up this screw here just a hair, okay, so it's not floppy. So that's how the bobbin winder is going to work. Now, the other thing with this machine is the needle that came with the machine is this one. I'm not actually sure the exact number and everything, but as you can see, it has a little cutout at the end. It's very long, okay? Now, that's the original needle. This is a modern size 15 needle, okay? And if you can see, I can make sure they're exactly the same height. What I need to look at is the distance from where this little cutout is to the top of this needle, okay? And thankfully with shuttle machines, it doesn't have to be absolutely precise, but let me get something here to measure with, okay? So if I put this up here, so from that cutout position, it looks, if these are millimeters here, there's the cutout. 1, 2, 3, 4 millimeters difference, okay? So in a way to make this machine work with a modern needle is you would, thankfully the head is the same shape, okay? So this is just a typical needle. This is actually a organ needle. The one I have in is a Singer needle. And the reason I have a Singer needle in there is because they have a little painted band on the top of theirs, okay? So if you can see, there's a little orange painted band right there. And that makes life a lot more handy because I can push the needle up all the way, and then looking at where the top of this painted band is, I can eyeball it until it has dropped about that 4 millimeters, okay? And then go ahead and cinch up the screw over here. And so yes, it is, the shaft is not all the way up, but it is up enough that that's going to hold securely. So that works for me, you know, because otherwise it's very difficult to find some of these very obscure sewing machine needles, okay? So let me release the tension, pull that out. I'm going to go ahead and get my bobbin in. So again, on these shuttle bobbins, it wraps towards you like that. Stick it in, and then there's always a groove. Pull the thread down the groove, and then back up. There's a little metal finger right there, okay? You need to stay down there, little bobbin. The flat part goes against the outside edge. Just gonna, oops, I need to pull that forward a little more here. And pop it in, okay? So I've got its little tail here. And I can pull it, and you can see, even though it's a modern needle, it was low enough that that thread could come over and catch it, which is great. So now I can go ahead, pull the bobbin up. Oh my goodness, I've got so many issues going on here. Pull the bobbin up through here, slide that closed, and we're ready to sew. And yes, I did already make one row of stitching just because I wanted to double check before I turn the camera on. So again, I have to keep saying this to myself because I'm so used to just pulling the wheel towards me. Pushing the wheel away from me, which means turning the crank towards me. And you can see she is sewing, okay? And she's sewing really well. It's a very balanced stitch. This is the stitch length, so let's say I want to make it its longest stitch possible. That's way up there at the top, okay? Let's see what happens. Again, away from me. And, you know, she's got a really nice length of the basting stitch there. Oops, I have to make sure I turn the wheel the right way. If you turn the wheel the wrong way, it's not an emergency, but you will break your thread. So, you know, that will happen. This up here is to release the tension and pull that out, okay? I think I just used up all my bobbin thread down there. You can hear here's the longer stitch length, which is very long, a nice basting stitch, and a medium one. So both sides look good. I just wanted to show you that because sometimes there's these old machines that have very archaic needle systems, and there are ways around it. And so here's just another example using a little tire on my used to be treadle only bobbin winder, and using a modern needle instead of the other. So this machine is still up for sale, and actually I haven't changed the price. I'm just including the hand crank and everything, you know, for the original price. It will come with the original needle, just so you have it to compare. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that she's a beautiful little machine, and she sews great. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.